Welcome to the Comin Up Charlotte podcast, produced by Deneka Thomas and amílcar Sanatan. This limited podcast series is all about real life in East Port of Spain. It is about the hustle, the people, the everyday work that keeps the city moving, the ones who make Charlotte Street, aka Chinatown, what it is. Today we're talking with Tall Hustle, a street vendor who was on the move through the mall selling knives. We found his strategy for soliciting customers interesting and decided to ask him to chat impromptu. So we met Hustle while sitting in the mall in our booth, just trying to figure out what our next move is. While amílcar and I was just having a conversation about who the next interviewer would be and how he was going to approach that interview, Hustle was walking through the mall, going from booth to booth, selling knives. And the thing is, we heard him when he passed the first time, and then when he came back down, he just peered into our booth, and we used that opportunity to have a conversation with him. Both amílcar and I found this very, very intriguing and different from the other persons we had interviewed. So, of course, we asked him to chat. He was a very, very willing participant and very forthcoming with information. But because of the sensitivity behind some of the things that he said, we've chosen to only share bits and pieces of that conversation here with you. I think for me, I recognize immediately that Tall Hustle represented a section of people that live in Port of Spain whose brains you don't get to pick often. These are people who, like Hustle, are on the ground trying to get a sale from persons passing by, persons commuting, persons just going about their daily business. And these are the people that most people, I think, in my opinion, try to avoid in their commute to Port of Spain unless they're selling something that just like of a lot of value. Men like Hustle just navigate this space in a different way. They move completely different to the other type of vendors and sellers on Charlotte Street. You see it and you feel it in the way that they walk, the way that they talk. You know, it's very, very purposeful, very alert. Men like Hustle are always scanning and analyzing, carrying the day's work on their backs or in their hands, always on the move.
Well, first thing first, I never gave myself that name. The streets gave me that name, you know, and I just like, no offense to nobody who working for people, but I really can't see myself working for people now. It's about a difference in not changing, and it's about a difference in trying to change. If you understand that. Because so people from outside looking in, people might say I caught up with certain habits. No pity. Certain habits, you know, certain demons that are fighting. But I know I'm going to get there.
Men like Hustle live step by step, sale by sale, day by day. And I couldn't help but feel like this is such an exhausting way to live. And for me, it's just like how much of a necessity it is, how much surviving means for you to choose this, even if it is exhausting. It's the same type of fight and determination that I see in the young men wanting to rise above their circumstance, like in the youths that I mentor, the young people that I work with in workshops, the youths that always trying to dodge danger and trying to make sense of a space that often seems stacked against them. Some can't get a job because of their past. Some can't get access to good schooling and opportunities because of systems of oppression that just not built to help young persons that come from these specific situations, you know. And I've seen like so many of my childhood friends been pulled into things that simply like destroy them. Addiction, criminal activities, negative influence, violence. And I've seen it and I've been close enough to this type of thing to feel it and feel for it deeply.
I'm not where I want to be. I don't know if I say the right thing. I'm not where I want to be, but that's how I just go in a day in the life of Hustle now. So, you know, sometimes it'll just be, what's the word I'm looking for? Uncertain. It'll be uncertain, but I'm never giving up now.
So I'm thinking that Tall Hustles isn't just about selling knives. It's about claiming space in a city, in a country that tells people like him that they don't belong, you know. It's about making a life when traditional routes are blocked and choosing every single day, even if it is with great struggle, to survive, to keep dreaming even when it feels like the odds are stacked against them. And I get that because I know what it feels like to like have doors closed or rather slammed in your face, to have the world say no to you, and to be forced to find a way that works for you. And you kind of learn quickly that survival isn't just physical, it's mental, it's emotional. And sometimes it means walking through these streets with nothing but faith and a box of knives in your hand, you know?
My inner richness is not giving up. And even though I know to myself I'm not where I am supposed to be, my self-love have me growing still now. It mightn't be to your pace or to anybody's pace, but I love me now. It might sound selfish, but I sure I'm going to get there one day. My dream is to own Hustle's Hideout. Hustle's Hideout is a resort, Airbnb, and Hustle Kabi. Hustle Kabi is an app like Uber, but worldwide and internationally known now, if you understand. So presently I'm learning coding, I'm learning French, I'm learning German, and I try to sound good because I have to learn how to learn too, because I just learn and I just forget. When I just read a paragraph twice and then go on to the next one.
The thing about Port of Spain is that these streets will test you, but it could also teach you. It could teach resilience, resourcefulness, and a quiet courage to keep moving, or sometimes a loud courage to keep moving. But watching someone like Tall Hustle, I see more than a vendor walking the street. I see life lived fully, intensely, dangerously, but also beautifully. I see someone negotiating survival and ambition at the same time, like so many of us do in so many different ways. And I can't help but reflect on my own hustle, my own streets, my own fight to create, to make, to dream. With my initiatives with Bacano Leaf and Bars Poetry Slam, and creating this platform for young people to speak their truth with the bookshop now, and giving people access to stories that could help them see what their limits could be, or really that there isn't any limits, This episode isn't just his story, it is ours too. It is about the men and women of Port of Spain who hustle not because it's easy, because it's not, but because it has to be done.
Each no is really closer to a yes. You understand? I just guilty trip myself sometimes, and comparison is the root of all unhappiness, right? It's no perfect way of doing the right thing.
It's about the hope to carry the dreams we nurture quietly in the face of everything that tells us no. It is about creativity. It is about courage. It is about the relentless, bad mind desire to carve out a life on our own terms. Thanks for joining us on Comin Up Charlotte. This podcast is part of a wider project that includes poetry, visual art, and a final community event, all shaped by the stories we've gathered here in East Port of Spain. To learn more, follow along, share an episode, or start a conversation of your own. Thank you again for listening.